I recently posted an article that I wrote on my Instagram page about the benefits crafting have on young children, and I just wanted to spend some time today discussing the article. Now, crafting is something that we do very often when our children are young, and we often sidetrack that as our kids get older, when they start preschool and definitely when they get into school. I know when they go to preschool, there's a lot of craft involved with their day-to-day routine, but I think as parents, we can do more at home to encourage crafting and as a result develop a lot more life skills that they will require when they start school. Now, the first thing that I discuss in my article is how it strengthens their fine motor skills. When they use equipment like scissors, or they use different crafting materials like buttoning or threading, or even, sequencing and, cutting paper and crafting with paper and using a paintbrush, it helps them with their finger muscles and their hand muscles, and that definitely encourages them to grow. And it helps them when they start school, when they start writing and they start drawing. It also helps them with life skills, from learning to button their shirts when they start school, to tying their shoelaces. The second benefit that I found was how it boosts their creativity and imagination. Crafting is a wonderful way, like art, where you can really allow a child to be creative and allow their imaginations to run wild. Whether it's a freelance project like finger painting, or to more structured projects, it allows them to make decisions on the creative side. So, for example, what colors to choose, what materials that they're going to proceed with, what is the project itself that they're going to create. And it really allows them to build on the confidence that, sometimes they may not even know that they have. And it helps them to continue with that as they progress, through with crafting projects. Another thing that I found is that it improves language skills. Now, sometimes craft projects are done alone at home, but you often see that they do them in groups, whether it's at a play date or a party, or even in more structured learning environments like preschool and school. Now, what it does is it allows them to engage in structured educational conversations. It promotes sequences of, structures of how they're going to proceed with the project. And when they get stuck or they get challenged on a certain area of the project, it allows them to to ask for help, to ask questions about how they can proceed. It stimulates conversations between children and their peers, and also children and their educators, which again, from a confidence perspective, it builds their confidence to be able to have the conversations with people around them, but also with their educators. It allows them to question certain things in the project itself about what they're going to use, why they're going to use it. And it also allows educators to ask them questions and communicate certain, skills that they would like to encourage during the project. Another thing is that it promotes cognitive development. Now, crafting activities can be sequences and planning, and sometimes projects can be simple, but they can also become more challenging, which involves a number of structured processes and sequences, and that allows children to develop more effective skills during this project, which means that it allows them to use these skills when they do start school, and they have the same sort of processes that they have to follow. It also nurtures social development. It allows children to interact not just with themselves, but also with other peers. It also it challenges them to interact with peers and educators that they may not be familiar with. And with practice, that becomes natural to them, so that when they're put into a situation where they don't know a peer, or they are being introduced to a new educator, it allows them to create a sense of comfortableness in that environment, because they have had practice previously during their crafting projects. It also cultivates patience and perseverance. Now, we can have simple projects to more complex, and during complex projects, children will hit walls, and that might instigate tantrums at first, But as we continue to do challenging projects, it teaches children that tantrums isn't really the answer to working out what to do with the project. It allows them to communicate and ask for help. It also gives them the sense of purpose and persevering to keep going and not give up during a project. And these are helpful skills that children definitely need when they start school and well into high school, because with life is hard, and you come across lots and lots of different challenges, and teaching this skill early on with crafting projects will help them to develop the skills that they require as they get older and journey through school. It helps them to use it as a means of therapy and stress reduction, especially children that are, have anxiety, or they generally, are nervous and shy in social situations or environments. Crafting can be a really great structured way to help them to engage more in those environments. The colors that they use on a day where they're using more darker gray colors, it's a sign that maybe their mood is not as positive as it was the previous time. So it helps educators and adults to ask them questions to really bring out certain feelings or moods that they might have, and that might help them. So yes, they're crafting through a project, but it also gives them the openings to have a conversation with an adult about things that might be bothering them, or stresses that they may be feeling, or a conversation or a friend that might be challenging them at that point in time. And I think that's a great way for them to really encourage those positive therapeutic conversations. At the end of the day, we want our children to be happy, and that's the main thing. And there are so many ways that we can do that. But I think at the end of the day, crafting really helps children grow in their self-esteem and their self-confidence. And as children grow in their self-confidence, and it allows them to take more risks with projects, and also take more risks in life within the boundaries of what they're doing. And I think that's really helpful to them, that and their skills that they should be developing from the youngest age. And I think the whole point of my article is to highlight that crafting can also help them with their life skills. I hope you've enjoyed reading it. If you have any feedback about it, I'd love to hear about it. And if you haven't read it, I would really encourage you to take the time to read it and find the benefits that crafting can have, not just on young children, but on children of all ages. I have a child in high school, and she still loves to craft. And sometimes she'll craft on a project of her age, and sometimes she'll craft with my 5-year-old daughter as well. And I think either way, it brings them a lot of joy and happiness. Thank you.